weeks ago, my girlfriend found a list. This list is television's top 10 most hated characters. Lori from Walking Dead is on there. Go figure. Joffrey from Game of Thrones is on there. Let me tell you what I know about Joffrey. My girlfriend comes over. I haven't seen any of Game of Thrones. Haven't watched it, can't watch it, won't watch it. And she tells me about Joffrey. I hear the name Joffrey and I just stop for a minute and go, wait a minute. Joffrey? She goes, yeah. I Google him. His picture comes up and I go, oh yeah, he's a dick. I don't know him, but I hate him. According to this list, the Sixth Doctor is more hated than Joffrey from Game of Thrones. So I get a text from my girlfriend about a week into the 5th regeneration. And she says, you've got to take a look at this list. Apparently the 6th Doctor is rated more hated than Joffrey from Game of Thrones. I gotta know. When you get to the 6th Doctor, what's going on? So I'm like, okay. So I watch the 5th Doctor with this in the back of my head going, so something really bad happened at the 6th generation. I began the 6th Doctor on October 12th. It was a Wednesday. And this is exactly what I wrote back to her. Pompous, narcissistic, immodest, arrogant. You asked me about the 6th Doctor. I am 5 minutes in, and this is my first impression. He lacks all charm. And he's a dick. And condescending. I continued to write this and fill in the blanks as the show went on. He is now strangling his companion. Literally. He's paranoid too. She writes back, and that is why he's considered the worst TV character ever. Worse than Joffrey from Game of Thrones. The next day I write, he's also a coward. 2 hours after that I write, oh my God! The Doctor is Gilderoy Lockhart! That was my introduction to the Doctor. The best way I can summarize the 6th regeneration is as follows. When Patrick first sees his face, well, first, the Time Lords give him an option to choose. And he does this whole, oh God, no. Oh, really? Oh God. And they say, screw this, you're not given a choice. And they push him through. I don't even think Patrick saw us. No, I remember now. Patrick did not see his real face because the reconstruction was so bad that we couldn't physically see the video for it. So we actually missed the introduction of when Patrick Troughton sees the regeneration. And whenever a Doctor regenerates, it's actually William Hartnell reacting to his new face, which is always fun. It's actually the #1 thing I look forward to the most whenever we start a new character is how is he going to respond to his new face. So I missed it with Doctor Who because of the reconstruction and problems with them swiping at that time period. But oh, I got it when I got to see Patrick Troughton react to John Pertwee. Now, what that means in Doctor Who terms, if you're new to Doctor Who and what are you doing? You're missing out on so much, is the actors have remained the personification of their previous regenerated self. So that the first few hours after regeneration, Doctor 3 behaves like Doctor 2. There's an adjusting period. It usually takes a full arc to fit in and you go, okay, so this is, all right, so this is the new Doctor. And you, like the companions, are going, you are completely different. Like, what happened to you? It's really interesting. And this is like one of the marks of the great, great actors who have just been lined up for this role. Is when they come into their character, not only can they just adopt this role like their own, not at all. They cannot do this. They have to first mingle all the characters prior to them into one character. They have to go through that periodic, whoa, I just spent the last regeneration in the last 6 years of my life being Tom Baker. Now look at me, I'm Peter Davidson. So you have to retain that awkward, whoa, new regeneration, new body. Oh my God, is that my face? it's like an ongoing thing now where it's one of the things I love more than anything is to look for the doctor's response when he sees his face. And the best thing is it's always the actor responding to his own face. So this is like a real treat to look forward to when you get into Doctor Who. John Pertwee gets there and he's like, oh my. Oh, I dare say. All right. All right, well, definitely some improvement. Tom Baker gets his face, and he's like, yes, yes. Oh. Oh, dear. Well, the nose is definitely an improvement. It's great. Peter Davidson's regeneration, there was so much that went wrong with the regeneration that it definitely screwballed, like, he was not himself. Colin Baker's regeneration. I felt like I was stuck with Gilderoy Lockhart. It was horrible. He picks up a mirror, looks at himself, smiling back at himself, going, and I'm just like, oh, ugh. Now, there was a lot that happened with Colin Baker's character. First of all, they changed out writers, and it was the 1980s, so everything had to be new and interesting for the 1980s because everything prior to the 80s just wasn't good enough. So this also applied to Doctor Who. So they threw out all of the scripts, everything, and they rewrote the character. Everything we loved and adored from everybody else was gone. Which is why I think Colin Baker was the... Oh my God. Okay, so I sat through some pretty shitty Doctor Who television. Okay, the reconstructions, oh my God. To this day, I hear the name Marco Polo and my eye twitches. I'm like, Marco Polo? Really? And trust me, Google Doctor Who Marco Polo arc, you watch it. Yeah, you'll have the same problem. So, like, seriously, we have a swimming pool. My kids go, Marco Polo, and I go, so it's really like, ah. This was the first time I legitimately contemplated skipping. Now, I pride myself on the fact that we have started watching from episode 1, season 1, William Hartnell, 1963, shit television. Hey, I did it for Star Trek. I can do it for Doctor Who. Okay, all right, I'll get through this. I remember the Highlander. It was so bad I couldn't watch it. And believe you me, we tried every little drop of shitty television. At one point, I had speakers going. It was completely blacked out, and I saw like the smidgen of Jamie's kilt, barely able to make out in the Highlander. But we got through it. Of all the television that was hard to watch, the part where they take on Jamie as a companion is still blocked out. I still am going, how does that happen? Because it's lost. It was like, but they didn't just lose the swiping here with the video. They also lost part of the audio as well. And it's the only part in the entire series, in the entire existence of Doctor Who, that part of the audio was missing. And they tried to piece it back together with what little they had. It was just god frickin' awful. But I got through it. I got to Colin Baker. I was 2 hours in and just went, can we skip this, Doctor, and just go on to the 7th? And my husband said, no, you want to boast that you're going to watch it? Oh, you're going to watch it. So, it was the one time I actually cheered for the Daleks. The Daleks lost again. It was the one time, it was just bad. It was just bad. And there's people out there who haven't seen the 6th Doctor, and they're probably going, oh, come on, was it really that bad? Yes. Yes, it was. And you're probably wanting samples, so I will explain. He was a heartless, cold, gutless bastard. This Doctor was afraid of death, afraid of adventure, afraid to do anything. He wanted to stay in the TARDIS and do nothing. He was the first time he landed somewhere and went, yeah, this place sucks, let's get out of here. No! Adventure! You're the Doctor! It was horrible. Ugh! Look, at one point, he just hides behind his companions. He uses his companions as body armor. Literally, there's a Dalek. Get her, not me. What the frick is that garbage? That's when I wrote, he's a coward. He also whined a lot. Oh my God. Like, there were moments where he was heaped up on the floor, just sobbing and blubbering like a little English baby. And I'm like, who the frick are you? Oh! Spoiler alert. So, the companion's killed. I hated her too. She wasn't as bad. It was a bad companion with a bad doctor. I can get through this review. I can. I got through the doctor. I can get through this. So, it's 1980s. I think it's 86 now, 87. They've got the weird, zonky 80 electronic music. They started to CGI in the first CGI ever. I mean, like, this is new CGI. And they felt they needed to CGI, you know, a police box, because that's not hard to replicate. It's the 80s. Everything had to be done electronically. So we got new special effects. Seriously, just watch the intro. I'm going to tie this in somehow so you can see the intro of the 1980s Doctor Who. Seriously, this is a hoot. So I'm watching this really early 1980s tech, first CGI ever done in England, and I'm like, all right. I don't know if that's a fact. I'm just throwing it out there. It was bad. Anyway, so he lands in this location. He finds this prissy little nobody. What's her name? Pip? I can't remember her name. Perry. Her name's Perry. But her name is like Periconacal Brown. Like Periconacal Brown. It's ridiculous. So her name is Perry. And he treats her like shit. I mean, this is the companion where he says, oh, hit her, not me. Like, he uses her constantly. He's such a dick. Okay, that's what it is. You know when the doctor lands on Earth and he loves Earthlings? He loves Terrians. We're Terrians. He loves us. He protects us. He's on our side. Oh, no. This doctor comes along and he's like, condescending, worthless little evolved apes. You need me. Like, he's on this massive egotistical power trip. Like, we are beneath him. And I'm like, screw you. We don't need you. So anyway, there's this arc. They screw it all up. They get rid of the writer. They bring in somebody else. And the last season with this particular doctor, I can't even remember. It's like season 24 or something. I really cannot remember the season number. But they're rolling him through this. And I don't know what they're doing. They just basically, they have 2 seasons with this doctor. Season 1 is new writer, new approach, new writing, new everything. They throw that out after the ratings dropped. I mean, they bombed. They throw up that writer. They brought in another director, writer, producer team. And they completely, basically the people they fired for Colin Baker's first season, they went, my bad, and brought them all back. So then they had to fix and kind of clean up and repair the mess of this previous producer-writer team from Colin's introduction. So Colin was only around for 2 seasons. His last and second season, it was a completely different makeup. The whole season was actually done in a courtroom where he is on trial and he is talking to the Gallifreyan council, the Council of Gallifrey. And he is explaining and updating everything, and they're accusing him of all these crimes for meddling. And they are showing arc after arc to prove why he's meddling. Now, if you get through this part, and it's not until I am literally at Sylvester McCoy, and I just went, son of a bitch, I needed to know that. But I was so steeped in anger and rage towards Colin Baker that I completely blew away a lot of it. So looking back in hindsight, I'm going, damn it, I needed to know that. So if you are actually struggling through watching this, pay attention. I know it's hard, but pay attention. The villains and the storyline that he gets involved with becomes absolutely dire to know at the end with the conclusion. Now this is when everything kind of goes, oh my God, this is so worth the shit they're putting me through. So, spoiler alert. This whole thing leads up to one particular moment where Perry is kidnapped. Her head is shaved. She's being used her body is being used as a mind-altering, they're taking person A's brain and putting it into her body and destroying and wiping out her brain. So during this arc, Perry meets this. Okay, he reminds me of John Rhys Davies. I mean, I saw this other character in Doctor Who, and I pulled up my phone and Google searched John Rhys Davies. That's Gimli from Lord of the Rings, if you don't know. Just to see if he, in fact, was in Doctor Who, because that's how very similar their characters, voices, personalities were like. So imagine this John Rhys character style Viking. And he finds little Perry. And they exchange this very sweet, no romantic interest at all, but it's a very sweet, endearing, it was just wonderful. And I watched that and I just went, they're going to fall in love. And they don't. That's kind of, Perry is kidnapped. And he's John Rhys, it's not John Rhys, but I'm going to call him John Rhys. He is on this massive, I'm going to get my kingdom back and I will rule. And she's taken and placed in prison, and the doctor is trying to get to her. And her head is shaved, she's chained down, she's getting ready for the transfer, and the doctor is running as fast as he can. Suddenly the TARDIS materializes next to the doctor. He is shut down and he is shoved into the TARDIS, almost like a robot manner, and taken away. And then the arc pauses and it cuts back to the doctor in the courtroom in Gallifrey. And he goes, now I remember. I was trying to save Perry. What happened? The council at that particular moment felt it was necessary to pull the doctor out of his arc so they can trial him. Phenomenal. So they continue watching, and the doctor gets to see what his absence causes. The John Rhys character announces, she's been kidnapped. My queen! And he runs off. I'm not going to cry, because I cried when I watched this. Perry stands up, and everything that was her is gone. Her memory's been wiped clean. This vile creature has been uploaded into her body now. And John Rhys comes in, and his queen, beloved, is absolutely dead and just non-existent. In a rage, he pulls out a gun and kills everybody. And then it pulls back to the courtroom. And the doctor is sitting there going, you let Perry die. And they're like, it's not your concern. She is one against many. There will be others. And he's just, but you killed Perry. I had the chance to save my companion. And because you pulled me out to bring me here for this trial, you let her die knowing she was going to die? And they literally shrugged it off as, one less human to worry about. That moment, right there, changes the doctor. Well worth watching the sixth regeneration. From that moment on, completely different doctor, completely different character. I think that the writers got to a point where they realized if they did not traumatize this regeneration, they could not get him reset back to what we know and love as the Doctor. There's more to the story, and I'm debating on what I don't want to tell you, because the revelation that follows, like from that moment on, I was like, ugh, ugh, oh my God, Perry's dead? They killed Perry. And then I was like this, like for the rest of Colin's existence as the Doctor. And the rest of it really ties in. If you can get through his first season, it is, I'm getting teary-eyed because, like I said, it just, what they do to him, what happens. Oh my God. Just, oh my God. Just beautiful. Just beautiful. And then a little part of him started coming back. At one point, he pulls out a bag of jelly babies. Jelly baby? So, yeah. It's, yeah. I'm halfway through! I didn't think about this. I need to do a special. Yes! All right then. That way I can talk about Sylvester a little bit. All right then.